Out of Milwaukee, Shams, a new head coach has been named. What more can you tell us?
Malika, sources tell me and Ramona Shelburne that the Milwaukee Bucks are finalizing a deal to make Taylor Jenkins the franchise's new head coach. The sides have met multiple times. Last week, Bucks brass, their ownership group, met with Taylor Jenkins in Memphis, and then again this week in Milwaukee. This was an aggressive pursuit and recruitment of Taylor Jenkins to secure his commitment here weeks before the NBA draft combine. Taylor Jenkins is seen as the top commodity in the NBA coaching market. You think about his player development, the culture setting, the competitiveness that he drove in Memphis, the all-time winningest coach there in Grizzlies franchise history. He made 3 playoff berths across 6 years, and with or without Giannis Antetokounmpo on this roster, whatever style you want to play, Taylor Jenkins is seen as that type of coach. Whether you're trying to compete now, whether you're trying to build for the future, he's shown that he can really contend and play and drive competitiveness in any type of area of franchises in.
Yeah, and he has familiarity with the organization. He was there back when I was there in 2018-19 as an assistant coach. But you mentioned the Giannis of all of this, the elephant in the room, Shams. Was Giannis involved in any way in this coaching search, the way that stars often are when a franchise is looking for their next coach?
Look, I'm not aware of any involvement from Giannis in this search process. This was something that the Bucks genuinely led, feeling like Taylor Jenkins was their guy. This was the best coach under any circumstance. He has shown that throughout his coaching career. We know the Bucks have hard decisions to make across this offseason with their veteran players, and that starts with a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. They had conversations at the deadline about him, and my understanding is that there's been zero communication between these two sides since the deadline as far as Giannis and the organization's top brass. But this day and moving forward is really a dawn of a new era in Milwaukee as far as culture in bringing in Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah, I guess the question is just how much of a new era, because as you're saying, no communication between Giannis and the top brass since the end of the season. That's certainly something to note. Shams, thank you very much for that insight. Ramona, you were involved in this reporting process as well. How should Bucks fans be thinking about this hire?
I think they should feel great about it. They just got one of the top coaches on the market right now, and they got him before anyone else can even get involved. And I think with Taylor, he was a great head coach in Memphis. They obviously kind of muddled things there in terms of all the assistant coaches they hired and the different directions they took, and then eventually they fired him sort of unceremoniously towards the end of last season. They didn't get to close it out, and he's been waiting for an opportunity. He could be choosy, and so he chose this opportunity. And I think this is a homecoming. That he obviously has some experience with the Bucks. They know what they're getting. He's going to figure out what he's getting when they make a decision about what to do with Giannis Antetokounmpo. But they know this man, and they know what type of coach he is, and so I think that's why the Bucks fans should feel good about this, because he's a known commodity in Milwaukee.
Absolutely.
I think it's a smart hire because it kind of hedges your bet a little bit. It kind of, well, you have a coach that's been in the playoffs before, has taken a Memphis team to a second round. So if Giannis is staying, then you're trying to retool around him to have a playoff team. If you're trying to tear it down a little bit and it's post Giannis, this is a team that Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, those are all 3 young players when Taylor was in Memphis. So based on what direction you're going, I think he fits both models there.
Yeah, he's able to be with a team that has a lot of experience and is trying to make a playoff push again, or a team that maybe is in a little bit of a more of a rebuilding direction. Taylor Jenkins, certainly congratulations to him, but he's going to be able to be. We do our NBA Today Big 3. It's the plays of the night before, but today we have a special anniversary edition, because on this date, April 23rd, there are some pretty impressive highlights we need to get to. First up, Paul Pierce. This is Game 3, Ramona, 2010. First round against the Miami Heat. The truth, he went to work. He scored 32 points. He nailed his 4th career game-winning buzzer beater on the road. And our guy Kendrick Perkins, 12 points, or actually 12 rebounds, 2 blocks in this game.
I know, you said 12 points. I didn't quite believe you.
Yeah, I know. He said that his stats are like 8 and 7 every game. So next up, Steph Curry. This is Game 3, 2015. This is the baby-faced assassin. You can't get the first to go. You can't give that man 2 attempts. You can't give him the second one. He ties the game. He sends it to overtime. And then Golden State went on to win in overtime. And Curry, he hit 40 in this one.
This is like their coming out party, right?
Exactly. And then a dynasty was born. And, of course, we couldn't forget about Dame time, right? Game 5, 2019, first round versus the Thunder. He became the only player in NBA history with a game-winning buzzer beater and 50 in the same game.
And after that game, that Thunder team changed awfully.
Yeah, the Thunder changed a lot, and the internet did too, because that meme was bored. And speaking of Damian Lillard, the Blazers posted this on Wednesday. It's the all-star guard getting some shots up, and they captioned it with the little eyes emoji, and that sent the internet into a frenzy. But just for the record, the Blazers, they said they don't expect to get Dame back this season. But of course, there's still a lot of excitement because the team is hosting their first playoff game since 2021. So absolutely, there should be a lot of excitement here. And Ramona, right now on ESPN.com, you have a story out, and it details another side of what's going on with the team. Because on the one hand, they're having this run in the playoffs, or there's a series that's all tied up against San Antonio. But on the other hand, there's a lot of cost-cutting efforts that have caught a lot of folks' attentions. What's important to know?
Well, I think the team has started off the year, right, with their head coach getting arrested after the first game. Thiago Splitter steps in the morning after. This is a guy who was coaching at Paris the year before. It's not his staff. He doesn't really know the players, takes over the team on an interim basis. From what I understand, they did give him a raise at some point and did discuss a longer-term deal with him. But the numbers that they offered him were so far below a standard head coaching salary in the NBA. They sort of tabled discussions. And because of that, the new owner has had conversations with other coaches around the league, college, assistant coaches, and it's sort of been loud around the league the last few weeks.
Yeah.
To the point where it's a bit uncomfortable. Everybody kind of knows they're talking to coaches who could theoretically replace Thiago Splitter, who's just led the team back to the playoffs for the last 5 years. And when I was in San Antonio the other day, I asked him, how are you dealing with these rumors and stories, a lot of which has been reported in the local press there in Portland as well. And Thiago says, I'm just trying to be a professional and focus on what I can focus on.
And absolutely, I think he is doing that to the best of his ability. But a lot of this, Bobby, is there's a new owner in town and some changes are being made. And you've seen this happen when a new owner comes in. What's that like for a team?
I've had it 4 times, 4 different times. And I think the biggest thing is when an owner buys a team, the commissioner just doesn't give you like a manual and say, this is how you're supposed to run it. I think everybody is different here. And I think he's learning on the fly. Unfortunately, he's gotten a lot of bad press over some of these cost-cutting measures. I think when he opened up his press conference a few weeks ago, probably the thing he should have said was that Thiago Splitter is our coach, and we'll reevaluate this at the end of the season here, and instead of kind of leaving this in limbo. I will say this: he comes from an NHL background, certainly owning the Carolina Hurricanes. We had Lou Lamoriello in New Jersey, who came from an NHL background.
Right.
There is different philosophies as far as whether it be roster building, whether it be building out your front office here. And I do think this is still a learning curve for him. But I will say this, Thiago Splitter has done a terrific job. He should be their coach moving forward. But the spotlight should be on a team that's 1-1 in Portland for the first time in, 4 or 5 years, and trying to take a commanding lead there.
Instead, we have stories in the Oregonian, which has done a great job covering this. Of there's not going to be T-shirts on the chairs there. That's normally everybody gives away free T-shirts.
But there are treasure chests maybe that are around Portland. However,
I heard they weren't doing as much comp tickets. Okay, these are the people who work for the team who usually get tickets. They're not getting them. There's the late checkout story that's been going around.
Right.
The two-way players didn't travel. I heard they weren't having advanced scouts which is pretty scout the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. That was also in the Oregonian. There's just a lot of these stories that are distracting from the first playoff.
I will say this: we work in a world of salary cap, and you can only pay a certain player. But the one benefit when you have an owner who has, certainly if they have deep pockets, is the resources that they can provide to the team, whether it be staffing, whether it be advanced scouts, whether it be everything else, whether it be how you treat your players. How you treat your players is the most important thing, because that's going to be when you recruit that player or draft prospects that come in through your building.
And I do want to be sensitive to what you just said, that instead of talking about what the Trailblazers
Scoot Henderson
at
at 31.
And Scoot Henderson, we are sitting up here and talking about this drama that's swirling around the team. And so I do think, our commitment to Blazers fans is that tomorrow, as this game gets underway, certainly that is where we are going to be placing the microscope. But coming up on our show, the Thunder, they have a commanding 2-0 series lead over the Suns. But injuries, could that